What's up, guys? This is Zack Householder from Whitechapel, and you're listening to Collision on Voice FM.
You're a guitarist in Whitechapel, and you weren't there right from the start. You joined, I guess, for the second album, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, I joined literally right after the first album was pretty much released and before they even started touring. So, I mean, I was there for 9/10, so let's put it that way. But yeah, the guy that was before me was Brandon Cagle, who's our sound guy now. He got in a motorcycle accident that left his arm. He couldn't use it like he used to, so Here we are.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So can I ask what you were doing before Whitechapel then?
I knew all the guys because we played in bands together. Actually, Ben Savage and I played in a band right when he joined Whitechapel. I was playing in a band with Ben Savage, and even before that, I had played in bands with Alex Wade. I knew him from high school, but right before Whitechapel, right before I joined, I was a sales rep for a company, and I literally just left that job and was looking for another one, and that's about the time, they called and asked me if I wanted a Cagle spot for the moment because we didn't know what Cagle, we didn't know if he was on a hill or not. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try it, and, it's kind of my last stab at music as far as making it a living, and, when Cagle wasn't going to be back, it was pretty obvious. I just kept going at it, and, I'm glad I stuck it out, but that was kind of my last stab at music. It was going to be anyway, but I'm glad I did it.
So then it actually ended up being your last stab at a normal job.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, it was my last stab at a normal 9 to 5, and I don't think, regardless, I think I would have wound up working for some band on the road anyway or something. This whole, 9 to 5, I get it. It's just not in my mindset. I gotta have my outlet, my creative outlet, and I can't stay in one place for too long. I love coming back home, but I can't. I gotta leave eventually again too. So.
Yeah, awesome. Well, can I ask then? You are a 6-piece band. What's it like on the road? I mean, it must be all right because you haven't actually had that many lineup changes.
No, it's not bad. We know how to deal with each other. Kevin Lane, our drummer that we had for a long time, he. There was nothing with the band. He just, he didn't want to do death metal drums anymore. It's a very demanding position in a band, playing extreme drums like that. And he just didn't have the drive for it, and he just a homebody. He just wanted to stay at home. So there was nothing wrong with that. And, and then we got, Ben Hopplroad, and he's been with us ever since. And, the lineup stayed pretty solid. And by this point, we're all just, this is not me belittling my job. I love it, but it is a job. We're just trying to get through the 6 weeks of tour, however long it is, to get back home and, make ends meet. And it's a great job. It's a dream job. But yeah, I'd say if anything though, the shows are great. Being in the towns are great. It's just getting from point A to point B that gets old after a while, the actual travel part of it.
Yeah. Can I ask then, with the writing process and that, having so many guitars and such a big rhythm section, I guess, in the band, is there a lot of, angst over the writing, or is it sort of something that's more natural to you now and you all know how you fit into it?
No, it's definitely more natural to us now because, if someone has the majority of a song done and the band agrees, hey, this is a cool skeleton of the song, let's work on it, then we all sit down and put our heads in on it. And if someone has an idea that makes the song better and everybody agrees, the person that wrote the majority of the song doesn't go, well, I don't want that in there because this is my song. That's not stupid. If it makes the song better and benefits the band, then, it's going to be in the song. So, like this album, I think I wrote over 60% of the most recent album. And it's just because I had a lot of material, it worked out that way and it gave us a good starting point. But, that wasn't me sitting there going, I have to control how everything works. It was everybody putting their heads in to make the songs better or, improve upon certain parts of them and everything. So we've got it down pretty well by now. So
that's just kind of part of the cycle, like maybe on the next album you'll only have 20 or 30% of your writing on there.
Yeah. And, it's not an ego thing. It's just, if Alex has, a good 5 or 6 solid songs that we're all like, fuck yeah, these are great, then we're going to roll with that. That's just the way it goes, man. And, there's no harm in working together, especially when you have so many people putting their heads, in it to try to make it good. So yeah. The ego's got to be cast out the window. That just doesn't work.
Well, can you tell me about the new album, which is out on June 24th, Mark of the Blade? Well, there's a lot more influence than that in there. You do have softer songs. You've even got a little bit of symphonic metal going on in some of the tracks. So were the influences from the fact that you've been travelling the world a lot more and playing with more bands? Where did it come from?
Well, I think that's a big part of it. You know, you'll play random shows somewhere and see bands do things a certain way and how well it goes over live or something like that. And then there's also, you know, we're older now. You know, we're not really young anymore like we were 10 years ago. And you know, we all have different tastes in music now. And you know, we all still love our death metal and our metal and you know our Swedish metal and everything. We all still love all that. It's just, you know, we want to try different stuff. And I think everybody lately, you know, we're just all big into like Deftones and Catatonia and Ghost and, you know, kind of doomy stuff too. And it just, you know, but yet still some of our old influences are still always going to be there to influence how we write. It's just we're kind of trying to try different stuff on top of it as well, you know. But yeah, I think you're right about, you know, seeing some bands, you know, live on the road, how they do things and how it, you know, really works live is kind of a cool way to be like, you know what, let's try something like this, or, you know, it gives you a better grasp on how you could attempt to try something different.
Yeah. Can I ask how it goes then? Like you have been touring the US throughout May, but the album's not out until late June. So are you like playing the album on this new tour or a few songs off the album? Are you selling it to bands that come to the tour? How's it working?
Well, before we did the tour, Mark of the Blade, the song was already out. We released it as a single in the States, but we also played Tremors from the album, you know, and it's a song that hasn't been released. It was just, you know, a pretty, you know, easily digestible song for live. And if people, you know, they obviously hadn't heard the song, it'd be something that would go over well and was heavy and fun. And it was, you know, it was kind of more incentive to, you know, be like, here's another taste of the album that you haven't heard yet, along with the song we already released. And, you know, we had to pre-sell things on the road that people could, you know, to put in their orders through our merch guy while we're out on the road. And, you know, for Warp, you know, the album comes out the 24th. We start Warp on the 24th. The Warp starts on the 24th. And so, I mean, we're going to play Elitist on Warp Tour as well. And, you know, yeah, we're trying to, you know, we're playing a few new songs from the album. So, and I think we're going to keep doing that, keep rolling that way for now, and at least play a few on Warp as well.
Right. Is there any chance that we'll be seeing you in Australia in 2017? We
always try to do, you know, kind of some more Southern Hemisphere stuff in the colder time of this year, you know, in the States, because it's kind of hazardous to tour the States in the winter, especially, you know, like Canada or, you know, a full U.S. tour. And so we kind of try to do like South America and try to make our way to Australia and stuff like that. And crossing our fingers all goes well. Hopefully it'll be, you know, just, you know, maybe the first third of the new year. So, you know, when it's starting to be here all spring and summertime. So
we'll keep an eye out. Do you have a favourite track off of the album?
That's tough. I don't know. I think I really like Decanium or Decennium's really cool. The closing track. I really dig that song a lot. Right. And I dig I think I've just probably listened to it too much because, you know, the album gets more, you know, nonstop for, you know, like 4 or 5 months straight. But I think Elitist is a really catchy, good hooky chorus, and that's a lot of fun to listen to. And then Bring Me Home is really cool too. It's a very emotional, you know, roller coaster ride. So. All
right. Well, Mark of the Blade, which is not only the title of the album, but you do have a track that you've released from the album called that. Is this just this little hint of keeping the whole Whitechapel and Jack the Ripper theme in every album?
Not so much. It's more about, you know, we have all these fans that have the Tennessee saw blade, you know, the Whitechapel symbol, like tattooed on them, you know, and on them for life. And that's kind of what the song, you know, it's about us. You know, it's about the brand, the entity that is Whitechapel, and just like basically the whole album is dedicated to those fans that have the mark of the blade, you know. And but yeah, I think it'll, you know, if you want to look at it that way too, that's a cool way to look at it. What you're talking about, you know, always having, you know, the Jack the Ripper kind of thing that lives on with Whitechapel, because that's the theme of the band. You know, instantly that when someone says, you know, what's the name of this band, Whitechapel, oh, where'd that come from? It's named after the district of Jack the Ripper, et cetera, et cetera. And immediately, you know, that's just like, oh, that's kind of, you know, that's kind of cool and wicked, you know, that sets a vibe. That's always going to be part of it. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very good assessment.
Yeah, when you mention that about people having the Whitechapel tattoos and things like that, I mean, you must be quite used to it now, but when you first start seeing that happening to you, how strange is it to, I guess, be worshipped by people?
Tell you what, we could get number one on the top Billboard charts, and that still wouldn't be as exciting to me as seeing people get the tattoos done. It hasn't lost its appeal or anything like that to me. It's still amazing. And yeah, I mean, I'm a little more used to it, but yeah, it's still bizarre to think about, you know. And I've said this before, you know, it's all about making something somebody can connect to and, you know, grasp and have something to hold on to with the music. It's not just the music. And, you know, Whitechapel's a brand. That's kind of, you know, that's kind of the idea. Make it a brand. Make it its own thing. And I think people relate with that. And it's crazy to see people representing the brand like that. And it means something to them, and it means something to us. And it means even more that we affect them that much to represent it like that, you know. And it's scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of thing, and it's a give and take that we're always going to have with our fans that I think is really cool, and it's hard to develop something like that. But, you know, I'm glad we got there and developed, you know, that kind of relationship with our fans.
Yeah, and is there something about Whitechapel that you would like people to know?
You know, I mean, there's the basic stuff. We're all so quiet, like everybody's scared to talk to us, or they think we're too good to talk to them, you know, and we're not. We're just Southern gentlemen, and we just really keep to ourselves. So we're never too good to talk to anybody, even though we may look like big scary guys or whatever. I'm not saying we are, but, you know, I wish people would just think that more. You know, we're not egotistical jerks or anything like that. And then on top of that, I think, you know, I was discussing this with someone else earlier. I hate, like, you know how some people, no matter what it is, they already have it in their head, they're going to dismiss liking it. And so, you know, if you were to play our band for someone and they were like, oh, this is pretty cool, what is this? And then the other guy was like, oh, it's Whitechapel, and they were just automatically, oh, that's, you know, that's lame, you know, that band sucks. Like, I wish that would go away. I wish that mentality of automatically writing somebody off would just go away, because, you know, there's bands, you know, everybody's guilty of it, but there's bands like that have done a 180 for me, and I'm like, wow, this band's freaking awesome. I didn't used to like it. And I just hate that whole prideful, you know, I'm too good to like this kind of thing. And I really wish that would just, you know, metal's a small community, man. We're a small niche, and we're growing, but, you know, we have the most loyal fans. No other genre of music connects to the music like metal does, and I wish everybody would get over the little shit.
Yeah, I agree totally. Look, you have released 2 tracks off of the album already, both only with lyric videos. So are you planning a proper video with the release of the album? Yeah,
I guess I don't know if I can really say which song it's going to be, because, you know, we hadn't released anything about it yet. I don't think it would hurt if I did, but I'm not going to risk that. But yes, right at the beginning of Warped Tour, there's a song to be released as another single that'll have a video with it. And then we're going to do another video for on down the road, like, you know, part way through Warped, or towards the end of it, we're going to release another actual video. So yeah, there's 2 coming in the near future.
And just finally, you did actually mention that even if you weren't in the band, you would have been touring and that with bands doing something. So what do you do other than play music? Do you like to play around with producing and stuff, or artwork? What is it that you got another thing?
Oh, yeah, I definitely like the recording side of it. You know, I'm a big gear nerd, and I have my own studio and stuff, and I, you know, record a lot. I wouldn't say I don't want to say I'm an audio engineer, because, you know, those guys actually go to school and know the ins and outs of, you know, electronics, like, and how plugins and everything work, that, you know, the way that we would never understand. And so I wouldn't say I'm an engineer, but I would say it's a hobby that got really out of control, and I'm a big nerd about it. So outside of that, yeah, I love the recording side of it, and I'm a big grease monkey. You know, I have my Harley, and I love that. I work on that like nonstop and just always doing something with it. And I love bikes, and yeah, I'm a big Southern boy, so I think the one main thing that I love to do as far as Tennessee goes is just being outdoors and fishing. And, you know, I'm a mountain boy, so you never take that out of me. So that's kind of what I do outside of the band anyway, as far as hobbies go.
Well, playing with your Harley and fishing sound like pretty relaxing pastimes when you're not with Whitechapel.
Oh yeah, no, those are mainstays in my life, so I gotta have them.
Awesome. I'll tell people that they can go to facebook.com/Whitechapel Metal, or you do have whitechapelband.com is your website, and the album can be pre-ordered now, can't it?
Correct. It can be done on those websites. It can be done on our merch store, which is merchnow.com, and it can also be done on metalblade.com, which I guess the address might be a little different in Australia. It might be like .au. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's the World Wide Web, so I'm sure you can find Metal Blade's website.
And it's
and just check out our Instagram or our Twitter. It's all in there too.
Awesome. And it's the 24th of June that the album comes out, and you start the Vans Warped Tour the same day. And it must be always exciting on a year when you've got a new album being released to the world. You must be full of anticipation and excitement for the year ahead.
I'm always nervous. I'm my own worst critic, and I'm always asking myself, is this the best, that Whitechapel could do? Could we have done better? It's just, I've worried myself sick about this stuff, and I just need to stop doing it. But yeah, I'm always a little antsy about it. Well,
it's a great album, and I'm sure that we're going to be hearing a lot more about Whitechapel than we've ever heard before, with the way that the band are growing. And of course, when you do get down to Australia ASAP, we'll be watching for you early next year.
Oh, I'd love to. Well, I hope we get down there. Australia is one of my favorite countries to visit, hands down, and I hope we get to get down there sometime soon. So I appreciate the compliments on the record.
That's okay. Thank you so much for your time. It's been great talking to you.
Of course.
And Whitechapel Metal or whitechapelband.com to order the album Mark of the Blade. And definitely when you're coming down to Australia February, March next year, and I want to have another chat then.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It'd be my pleasure. So for there, you just show up to the show and we'll make it happen. So
awesome. I look forward to it. Thank you so much and have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye.